Hi, Joe.
Hi,
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a mom of two kids. I'm 39 years old, turning 40 in September.
You should rage.
I started competing in 2017 alongside my coach Allison. Fell in love with it, and this year I'm prepping for the biggest stage that I've ever been on, which is the Natural Nationals in Toronto, which is 4 weeks from today. I'm an educational assistant, so I have a tough job, and I have the summers off, which is really nice. It's a little difficult on the financial end, but it's needed. I don't know what else you want to know.
Okay, how long have you been training?
I've always done some form of exercise, probably off and on since, well, I guess you got me into the weight room when, I don't know, I was in high school, I guess. We used to train up in my parents' garage over top. But I really got serious into my training when I joined with Allison. So back in, I think it was September 2017.
So tell me, let's be honest now. You were one of those girls who thought if you touched iron, you would get massive, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember actually I found one of my old books from when I started first training, like in the garage, and I was like doing like 3-pound, 5-pound weights for like shoulder press and front raises, and I think even squats. Like I would hold dumbbells, really lightweight dumbbells, because I was afraid to get big. But I also grew up with. Shouldn't go there.
Careful what you say.
I'm not gonna go there.
Okay,
Skinny has been a big
goal.
goal. Yeah.
Okay, speaking of squats, I know the answer to this. One body part you could change. What would it be?
One body part.
Yeah.
I know where you're going with his legs. Definitely calves. I would definitely shrink my calves. I have very large calves for a woman. But my overall legs, I would definitely
Even
change.
now, looking back in your photos and knowing that those legs win shows.
I still have a hard time with my legs because that's where I retain, that's where, when I gain weight, it all goes in my legs. So my legs are always larger than I would like them to be, and they just, especially in off season, they sometimes just look
Soft.
a little too large.
So, your favorite exercise?
Favorite exercise? I'd have to go with rack pulls.
Really?
I really fell in love with rack pulls this last
What is that?
Crap.
competition. The last I think couple competitions, I'd say. I also love leg day. So other than lunges, I don't really like lunges of any sort.
So would that be your least favorite exercise?
My least favorite, I really don't like deadlifts though. Deadlifts are kind of brutal, and I've been having kind of like back issues, so I find deadlifts really can irritate, especially like straight leg deadlifts. Between deadlifts and lunges, like especially split lunges, I think or Bulgarian lunges. Yeah, those two exercises, like if I didn't have to do those, I would never do those. I would never put those in my own program.
All right, that's good for now.
All right, see you
Bye.
later.
Hi, Ryan. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name's Ryan. I'm 40 something. licensed technician working at Taylor Ford here in Moncton. Been training since about 1995, 1993. But like most youth at that point, the only information I had was from the magazines. So when the magazines showed Ronnie Coleman, as big as he was, and this is the program he did, or he does, clearly that means if I do this program, I'm going to look like that. So my training consisted of lift as heavy as you can for as many as you can, and anyways, that usually ends up leading to injuries, and sure enough with me it did.
So what made you get into competing?
I never ever wanted to compete. Ever since I picked up my first dumbbell, competition was never in my field of vision ever, and I don't know why. I just wanted to get as big as I possibly could. And then after seeing you go through what you did and how you went from just a typical mom to, a stage queen, I figured, well, I was turning 40, or I didn't want to turn 40 and regret it. So at 38, I decided, I committed to do my first show, and I said, you know what, if I like it, I like it. If I don't, no big deal. At least I can say I tried it. Because it's kind of after all those years of bodybuilding and coming from the point of lifting heavy to actually learning, understanding exercise physiology, I think that's what it's called, and how to train, and just the knowledge that I had accrued, the next logical step is to show it, step on stage, see what you can do, see if you can trim down and see how you perform.
So of the competitions, how many competitions have you done so far?
I did 5. Thanks.
And have they all been the same? Have they all been easy, hard?
I think the first one was easiest because it was new. I had no experience with it. And really, when it comes down to it, if you should trust your coach first of all. And if you do what your coach tells you to do, you eat what your coach tells you to eat, and you train how the coach tells you to train, you're going to come in condition. If you cheat, it's on you. I never in my entire life thought I would have stepped on stage that first time at 158 pounds. I didn't realize I had that much body fat tucked away in here somewhere to lose.
Okay, so that was your first competition,
Mm-hmm.
which you say was the easiest. So have all the preps been the same since?
No, last prep was pretty difficult. I think one of the things that makes it the harder as you go from competition to competition to competition, the more competitions you have to look back to and say, oh, well, it was like this then, or I did that then, or back then I looked like this. It's too easy to take your eyes off what your goal, what you're heading for. So it's easy to get stressed and get worried and get, you start to doubt your coach and you doubt what you're doing. You don't think it's going to be enough. And once you start to do all that, and you get stressed and the cortisol goes up, and then things can just go south in a hurry.
So what would you say is the most important thing to do during prep? Would you say it's the diet? Would you say it's the training? Would you say it's sleep? What do you think is the most important thing?
I think the most important thing that you can do is make sure you're adequately rested. If you're training consistently, and I mean from off season to in season to whatever, if you're training properly, like me, I always go into the gym with the mindset of I'm going to grow. Whether that's I'm going to grow in my mobility, I'm going to grow in my strength, my stamina, whatever that might be. I'm always trying to grow, to go better, to get better, to go a little bit farther. And that should be the same for any sport, whether you're a track and field or baseball. You always want to be better than you were yesterday. The diet is the diet. It is what it is. It might be different if I was doing my own diet, but I'm not. So I can blame my coach, but I eat what she says. The sleep is absolutely critical. If you don't have the sleep to recover, your training and the diet isn't going to do what it's supposed to do. If you have adequate rest, all of those other things fall in line and things start to happen.
So, what's your favorite food that you eat on prep?
All of it.
But if you had to, like, if you
If I had to
could,
pick one meal, it would
like,
be,
is there anything, like, because near the end you start losing probably some of those favorite things. What
Yeah.
would that favorite thing be?
Cereal.
Like Greek yogurt and protein powder, or like,
yeah, that,
is
or I think berries are right up there near the top. Oats I can typically do without. I mean, they're basically a filler for me, so I would say it would be berries or Greek yogurt. Not that I'm getting that now, but I am getting berries.
okay. Do you have anything else to ask, Jules? Do you have anything else you want to add?
Nope.
All right.
All right.
Goodbye.